We'll do it live. Hello. Are we on? Are we live? Are we live? Yes, we are. Oh, we got playback. Gonna mute that. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to the world's largest mod party. This is my little segment talking about video editing for gameplay. How are we all doing? I'm just gonna. What do we got? Hello, chat. Talk to me. Oh my god, you're out of bed. Shut up. No, I'm out of bed. I'm fine. All right. So we got 19 viewers. That's all right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm good, Nerfius. Nerfius is a regular at Wasteland Wars, or actually one of the admins, so for people to know. All right, cool. All right. We're sorry that this has taken a while to set up. We've had some problems trying to do a screen capture of wrong way. Screen capture of my desktop because the stream isn't really set up to quite do that. And playback's going to be a little bit jerky because I don't have a powerhouse of a computer. But, however, I think what we'll do instead is more so talk about concepts and maybe just cover some of the basics and some of the basic pitfalls that people can fall into when they first start trying to make their own gameplay. Yeah. Yay, it's Justin. All right. Alrighty. So, if I can distill one piece of knowledge to you, and like that's your one bit of homework, if you actually are serious that you want to start producing gameplay or that, is fix your audio. So that sounds maybe a little bit basic, but the thing is, what I see so many times is that people get an action cam, they stick it on their head, and then all of a sudden, they just record in-camera audio, or maybe even it's in like the protective case, and you get this muffled audio that you can't hear what's going on around you. You hear like only like low noises and that. Anyway, it's not good, and you know what I'm talking about with that. So one thing you can do to fix your audio is get some binaural microphones, or just get a lapel. Just any audio source that is better than your action cam is better. So what I've got here, hey guys, sorry about that, roommates. Anyway, so what I've got here is what I'm actually using for the live stream is some binaural microphones that I got from Amazon ages ago. Unfortunately, the company is still around, but they're not making these headsets anymore, and I've actually been using them to record my gameplay into an audio recorder. And so you can see that they've got like the stock standard PC inputs. So one is the headphones playback and one is the microphones inputs. And I've been inputting that into a separate audio recorder, recording that and getting really nice high quality audio. It's good as that these can output. Now, though they don't sell these anymore, there are third-party options that you can use, some other options. So what was it? There are these cans. Damn it. I should have brought this up beforehand. I'll put up a post in the event afterwards, just listing some of the stuff that I talk about and some of the links. But yeah, if you already have an action cam and you want to improve the quality of your videos, please, 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 if we can hear you, you clearly, if we can hear your environment clearly, then a lot of the times that completely makes up for like low quality video. The next thing, of course, would be stabilizing your camera. So for most part, just getting a stable mount would highly improve your footage. Now, what I've been doing recently is I've been doing face cam instead of head cam. And so, oh, there he is. We can bring this up. Actually, there it is. Sweet. So, this is actually kind of close to my setup. But I've been mounting the GoPro on my face so that it's closer, just below my eyes instead of above my eyes. Now, the reason for this is so that when you, in video games, right, we've had about 25 years of basically of gamers in like gaming industry and gamers experiencing that kind of media. The camera angle is actually a lot lower than you think, and it's definitely not on the top of your head. And what you'll see in a lot of like airsoft gameplays where the guy has a head cam and a scope cam, he will lean in. Can you see me in frame? Am I in frame? There we go. He'll lean in, and because the camera is on top of his head, the camera will go to the other side of the scope, and that will look jank. Or it looks wrong because like normally, say like Call of Duty or any of the games, the view shifts up, right, and then zooms into like the scope or whatever. So deliberately putting your camera low, below your left eye, or rather your opposite eye to whatever hand you shoot with, is beneficial. And yeah, so putting it below the eye is way better. It's so much better. Yes. Then to beyond that, so getting that stable and getting really good audio will transform the presence. It'll bring so much more to your videos. The next thing can be stabilization. So I can't play back that smoothly here. I don't know if Adrian can hear me, but we might be able to play back some videos separately later. But so that, yeah, play it back now if you can. Yeah, just close me down. So yeah, what I'm about to show you guys is just a demo of, a sneak peek of what I'm currently working on. And so at Wasteland Wars, we had a giant 50-minute game of VIP King of the Hill, where essentially you just have to get your VIP player to the hill and then they win. That turned into a 50-minute skirmish, and it was amazing. And so currently that's what I'm milling my way through, trying to add in all the effects. And also we had a secondary B camera running around, Diz, Dan Buse on Instagram, I think. Or is it just Diz on Instagram? I can't remember. He was running around with his like proper mirrorless camera on a gimbal. So, and that looks amazing. And so I've been integrating some of his footage and like cross-cutting between my gameplay and then his kind of coverage of the game, and trying to make that smooth. And because anytime you add in a secondary camera, or the more cameras you add in, you multiply the amount of work, and then trying to make cohesive spatial sense of the geometry of where everything is becomes a lot more difficult, because now you're not just focusing about one camera, you've got to focus about where the other camera is in relation to the other one before you cross-cut. Sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes you can just cut and it's like it's a different scene, because like we don't need to know the exact, if you're like changing scene, you don't need to know the exact location. Like say Star Wars, where the story will cut to someone else's what is it? someone else's story happening elsewhere. We don't need to know exactly the location, like the exact geometric spacing between the two scenes, so that kind of thing. Anyway, my audio is peaking apparently, FYI. How you going, Adrian? Okay, yeah, play back. It's a little jittery, but I'll actually just link it in the description. Probably not. It didn't hit you. You didn't feel it. Yes. Yep. And oh shit. So I will just link that to you guys in chat. Pardon? Okay, yeah. All right. So I'll just link that to you guys in chat if you want to play that back later. But anyway. Yeah. Hang on. Bring me back, chat. Sorry. Paste. Yeah. There we go. Death by Nature's video link there. Actually, did that even work? Am I allowed to post that, or do I need to be a moderator? Anyway, so yes. Now, yeah, fixing your audio, just that can be a big change. Now, let's actually get into some editing. Let's have a look at this beast that has consumed my life. Help! So anyway, I have compressed the first 25 minutes into, where do we start? We're starting from 4 minutes to 17. Yeah, so it's like half an hour is compressed into 13 minutes. Oh, my internet connection is unstable, apparently. Zoom doesn't like me. Anyway, and what a lot of this has been is just trying to create a narrative from the actual gameplay and try to remove. So, all right, now, sorry, I'm trying to structure this as I go along. When it comes to editing, you've got, say, like if you do a talking head video, that is completely different from how you do action and gameplay because it's completely different sets of information. So say like if we talk about a talking head, what I'll normally do is because the camera angle is fixed, we don't need to worry about that jumping around or where the camera like position is or where the actors or talent or presenters position is. The only thing that ultimately matters is the verbal information being shown, being said, and that's why you can just easily cross-cut with like B-roll close-ups of the blaster or that kind of thing, because it doesn't matter. And so what I'll actually do in the edit is I will edit to the syllable, and what will happen is it'll if there's any ums or ahs or long pauses, I'll just edit those out. And the problem is, though, you can't do that with action because we need to understand where I have moved in relation to the fit to where the camera was originally. So I don't know how well this will play back. Oh, is that the circle? All right.
Everybody in the
lid.
circle.
It's the landmine of life. Oh wow, this is one heck of a ridge. So I don't know how well that played back for you guys. Did this improve it? Wait, would that make it? Ooh, got questions. Okay. Sorry. Thanks, Adrian. So yeah, Adrian is my imaginary friend. So no, he's incredibly helpful. He keeps me on task. Anyway, okay, questions. Sorry, I went on a bit of a spiel there. Blah blah blah. Hey, sorry, I'm trying to catch up. Audio speaking. No, all right, cool. Experiment posted. What do we have questions? Where are the questions? Yes, I am reading this chat. This is the weirdest stream yet. Thanks. No, Anarchy Forge is Alex French. Alex the Wizard. Okay, Nova Blaster asks, is there a good way to get decent footage out of a mediocre camera? So look, if you can stabilize your camera, as in, well, the mount, even if you are doing a head mount, if that's jostling up and down, what'll happen is like every little bit of movement will come up with shaking on the screen. That probably didn't look cool. Anyway, but one thing you can try, if you do have a mediocre camera, but you do have like maybe $50 to spend or something to work out, try getting yourself a mask that you're allowed to wear at whatever your events are, and see if you can mount your camera down here. Because the other thing too is, like, in the past I have actually mounted a whole an entire brushless gimbal with a GoPro on it on my helmet. I had a fast helmet, like for airsoft, and that thing was heavy, obnoxious, and obstructed my view because everything was so massive and bulky. And it was kind of more stable, but yeah, I don't know. I think what can help a lot without even a gimbal is moving the camera down. If you think about it, so say your fulcrum for, like, when stuff pivots, the fulcrum for your, is that the center point? Anyway, the pivot point of like your neck, it's down here. The further away you are from the pivot point, the more tessellation and movement there is. So that makes sense, side to side. But if you bring that down closer, then there's physically less movement. So if I tilt my head and the camera's down here, it's only moved, what, that much compared to that much. Oh, yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah, from the center line. Actually, wait, I do have a ruler here. So yeah, you can see a camera that would be mounted on my cheek here has only moved this far, about 5 centimeters, whereas on the top of my head, it's like would have moved 10 centimeters. And so every little bit of movement. So yeah, that can improve a cheap camera a lot. And yeah, and improving your audio, because think about like horror movies, right? If you turn off the audio for a horror movie, it's not like, you just play it back without any sound. It's not necessarily going to be that scary. Maybe some of the visuals might be gross, but try this. Turn off the lights so it's dark and only play back the audio of a scary horror scene. And then it's like, not a bad horror movie where there's like loud noise, jump cuts, but with something like, actually, Pony Smasher just uploaded a new video. Pony Smasher, who created the Lights Out short that went viral, and then he got the chance to make the Lights Out movie. He's also went on to direct Shazam. So, you know, he started from YouTube and is now, you know, directed a $100 million movie. He just put out a new horror short, and just him and his wife, you know, still doing their thing, filming in their house. And the sound design in that is just, it's so good. It's like, it gave me like, it wasn't the scariest, like, but it was the effects that he did, like with the audio and the pacing and the timing, gave me goosebumps. So if you can fix that, and actually going back to Star Wars again, or bringing out Star Wars, like, there's so many like clips and little documentaries about the sound design in Star Wars, how that just brings everything to life. Actually, think about Call of Duty, right? In Call of Duty, because they're all what is it? That you can't see the projectiles or the bullets. It's all kind of hit scan or that kind of thing. You might see a muzzle flash or that, so there is a little bit of illumination and presence, but for the most part, you can't see the projectile, but you can hear it. And what happens is that everyone talks about how, like, when you like listen to the sound design, the guns sound powerful, they have presence and all that kind of thing. Remember, those guns don't actually exist. There is zero metal involved there. It's all digital. And so, however, creating that illusion will like it really sells the presence of the game, and like and the situational awareness too with their environment sounds. So if you've got a cheap camera, yeah, you can buy just a smartphone lapel mic and play back to that, or just record to that, and that'll improve everything. It's really helpful. And actually, I'll recommend also an app for audio recording. What's it called? What's the app I use? Where's my brain? Sorry. I hope I'm not going over time. Oh, that should be good. That's annoying. Wait, why did I even put this app? That's dumb. Whatever. I'll link that in. I'll make a post about all these kind of things in the. I think I will. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll post all these links in that in the event description. Just like if you've got some footage that you've been sitting on for a while, maybe you can fix it in editing, maybe not. But if you've like wanted an excuse to put some time into an edit, now that everyone's got some downtime, now would be a good time. Let's bring this back up. All right. Hello, Niroda. How's the HPA going? Hello. Okay, good. Sweet. Rainbow Circus, face mount idea is awesome. Yeah. Actually, have you ever seen the movie Hardcore, or Hardcore Henry, as it's also been remarketed? Those guys got started making music videos for, was it Scraping Elbows? Biting Elbows. Yeah, Biting Elbows music videos. If you look them up on YouTube, basically they had a camera, a GoPro, a very old school GoPro. I think it was the GoPro Hero 3. It might have even been the first video was the GoPro Hero 2. And they mounted their GoPro in an old Predator mask that they cut out, and they mounted it down here in the face. And because of that, the arms, where's my, I'm trying to. There we go. Because of that, you can actually get all their arm movement and the gun placement in shot. So because it's lower, because that's like another thing. When the when the camera's too high, you won't even be able to see your blaster in shot. And so then people start to angle it down, and then you're looking at the ground instead of looking out in front of you at all the action and that kind of thing. So, yeah. What program do you use? Oh, okay. So I'm using Premiere at the moment, but you can get HitFilm Express for free. That's their free version of HitFilm Pro, or yeah, and that is totally free as an editor, and it's got some effects and that kind of thing. But you will be able to do 95 or 99% of basically everything you'll want to do just to get started with editing. And yo, yeah, and I was about to bring that up. Yeah. And also, as Adrian pointed out, as I was about to get to, Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve. Actually, Blackmagic Design is based in Melbourne. So that's kind of cool. And they bought out DaVinci years ago. And so DaVinci Resolve is a very powerful color editing, color grading and color editing suite. But it also is in little editor as well. So, and the base version of that is free, and I think for the most part it's just it performs well. I can't remember what they cut out from the paid version, so I think it's something to do with some kind of encoder optimizations. Yeah. Maybe for H.265 or some other like professional codecs, but for YouTube and for your GoPros, H.264, or you should be. Well, GoPros can do H.265. It should be fine, as far as I understand. So yeah, definitely. If you want to get into that, was there any other questions? Been talking a lot. That's the whole point, right? Well, all right. Yeah, all right, we'll get on to that. So Matt Becker brings up, be sure to include mention your clubs or your groups, because clubs are paid membership, right? So not all Nerf groups are clubs. So because then you need insurance. So anyway, if you're in Victoria, Wasteland Wars, definitely check them out in Bendigo. They're awesome. It's worth the drive. I drove up with Liam from Melbourne. And then also down in Melbourne, we've got Melbourne Nerf and Humans vs. Zombies Melbourne. So definitely check those out. Now, Bradley has brought up Real Steady Go. So it's been some of my secret sauce recently to stabilize my gameplay footage. So what I've been using with the face cam and that, I've been using a GoPro Hero 6. However, I've not been using a gimbal or anything, but how come the video looks so smooth? So if you do look at that the clip that I linked, I'll link it again. Linking it as Death by Nature in chat. I don't know if that's working or not. Anyway, it's super smooth. And so what there is a piece of standalone software for 100 USD called Real Steady Go. So just a sec, guys. Oh, sorry. Anyway, yeah, Real Steady Go is a piece of standalone software. It's the standalone version for GoPros from their After Effects plugin. And so that used to like just stabilize any kind of camera footage using optical flow, where it will watch the footage and try to calculate where the pixels are moving, and then try and study the video from there. The problem is that it's guessing, that can be incorrect, and it can get wobbly. It's not always perfect, and similar things can happen with Premiere's and After Effects inbuilt stabilizer, warp stabilizer. The same can happen there. However, the really cool thing about Real Steady Go is you input your GoPro's footage, and it can detect if you turn off stabilization on your GoPro. It turns out since the GoPro Hero 5 and the GoPro Hero 5 session, they have been recording the telemetry data of the gyroscopes to the video track. And yet, for some bizarre reason, GoPro has never released a piece of standalone software to stabilize their own footage, but they've been doing that for years. So anyway, Real Steady Go realized this, and the standalone piece of software is so simple. You just drop in your clip, and it will stabilize it for you, as well as remove the fisheye. So that's why my videos have like a different GoPro look. It's because it's been removing normally the video curves around, the fisheye effect. It's been remapping that and giving a proper linear projection. And some people said, oh, it's too wide, it looks weird. It's because when you push a linear projection too wide, it starts to get projection warping. So it's not distortion, it's warping, projection warping. And that's why a lot of video games, all video games have perfect rectilinear projections, right? Because it's all virtual, there's no lens distortion. If you push that beyond 110 degrees, that's when you start getting weird pin cushion distortion. So you can look up old school videos of if you look up like field of view max or like options for like CSGO or for Quake, people will deliberately input a bad oversized wide angle field of view, and then it looks all distorted. That anyway, yeah, combining Real Steady Go with the lower face mount is really good, and that's what's been working a real treat. Combined with the audio, yeah. Sorry about that. All right. Wait, do we have any more questions? Questions? If it's too smooth, can you make it shaker? Yes, actually, just a jolt in Real Steady Go, you can actually set the amount of smoothness and also the zooming speed. So it will zoom in a little bit to crop the image to actually stabilize it in that. And so you can set how much it crops and the speed of which it will zoom to like readjust the frame or that kind of thing. Because, that's the other really awesome thing about the footage is that normally, right, when you think about it, if one of the most distracting things in like camera shake is rotation. Because if you think about it, every movie you watch, like even if it's like a high-speed chase, the camera is usually always flat and steady. And the same with all your gameplay, or like in video games. So if you look at from the original Doom to now Doom Eternal, and in the last 25 years of games, the camera doesn't rotate unless it's a player input, like with leaning and that kind of thing. But they keep that dead flat, even though you're bouncing around and that you're flying around through the air in Overwatch. They always keep the horizon line dead flat, and that's like the secret sauce with Real Steady Go is that in the options there is a horizon lock mode. You switch that on, and then instantly it looks like gameplay footage. It does, because that's the real advantage of using a gimbal, is that it keeps the horizon line flat. And so you now have that option on a face mount. Like, it's so small, like it's now just the size of the camera, and that's what makes it really good. Now, I suppose another thing I'd like to talk about is some editing principles. Sorry, I've been talking. Well, that's the thing. Like, you got to get good footage and get good audio recording to actually have something worth editing. Like not to be condescending or disparaging. You do need to practice your editing too. And a bad edit can totally ruin good footage. Like, you can go out and buy, how much is it? $400 GoPro Hero 8. But if you've got bad audio with that, and if you for some reason have bad editing, then it's like you're wasting your money. You're better off buying a cheaper secondhand camera and buying a good microphone than buying the GoPro Hero 8, honestly, or the latest like camera tech. So with editing, now I already stated that, yeah, it's not like dialogue, but we do want to kill. There's, what's the term? I believe the term is like professionals use is cut the fat and kill your darlings. So sometimes when you play back an edit, it's like, it's boring. So I see this too many times where people will record some gameplay, and then because they've recorded bad audio, they're just using in-camera audio, and then because they're not cutting out all the boring bits, they just throw a music track of just some unmotivated music over the top of the video that isn't related to what's actually happening on screen. So if, like, you know, like, there's a build up in the music and all you're doing is just walking around, and it's like, why'd you do that? If you're like that, if your footage is boring, cut it out. Essentially, don't show it. You're like, just because you filmed it doesn't mean you have to show it. And the same goes for face cam too. With people who mount face cam on the blaster, you don't have to keep cutting back to that. You don't need to see your see your face for every time you do something. It should only be used for like for a deliberate purpose. So like a reaction shot to getting for dying, or that kind of thing. Or maybe there is a quiet moment where you're talking on radio, and so because it doesn't matter what you're actually looking at, it's okay to then cut to your face and you talking on the radio, or that kind of thing, or talking to like a friend next to you. But it doesn't make any sense to quick cut back to a face cam while you're in the middle of action. It's like, yeah, because you're trying to tell the story about the field layout, the other players, where you are, your position, and who your focus and your aim is at. And that's so that's one of the things. Actually, so here, right, there's a jump cut just because I'm going off the top of the hill here. And, you know, this is just an establishing shot. This is the hill, and then I'm just loading, and then there's like just a quick cut. I don't know if it's still playback between me and Pete.
All right.
Looked like there was some pressure on that mag as that was going through. Is that some tight snug fit?
Yeah,
it's pretty tight.
That I was using, and that kind of thing. And so this is a moment where
Mag
I'm
sort of
cutting
moved backwards.
between.
Oh, it also went
my
too high,
action
and it's weird.
But it's been feeding okay. It's just reloading. It's kind of annoying.
Is this CJ's blaster?
Yeah, CJ's blaster, and that's my Captain Slug wildcard adapter for both katanas.
And so, yeah, and then quick cutting back and forth between Diz's DSLR. Sorry, no, it was mirrorless. Between his professional camera on a gimbal and my GoPro, and that kind of thing. But remember, that's a conversation, right? So actually, this is an example of a conversation edit. It doesn't matter how quickly I quick cut here, because we've already established the positional relationship between where I am and where Pete is in this conversation, and we also understand where the two cameras are, so we can just easily quick cut back. Let's find some action. Actually, this is fun.
Was a
I
strike.
have eyes.
I don't know how well this is going to play back, but we'll see if you can get the gist.
I wanted to build a flywheeler that was a
I
strike.
have eyes on. They're walking left from the cars around towards the left side. Going far left.
Roger that.
Okay,
I wanted to build a strike.
Let's go do the thing.
So, with that little section, what I did there is first Diz was about to interview and talk to Pete about his blaster, and that actually naturally carried on from my conversation about my blaster. However, we get a radio call from from Jacko saying, "Oh, he's sighted the enemy. They're now coming." And so it just worked out so well that Pete gets interrupted, and then and so I was just happened to be on the side there looking at what they were doing, and so when he reacts and I react and look off to the distance to where the action is going to happen. So we're now looking towards where we're going to head, and then just happened. Then I got to capture Alistair, who's Nerfius in chat. His hand gesture pointing off to where we're going to head. So like that's like a perfect little establishing thing of, hey, this is what's about to happen. Like it's a build up, and then we quick cut. Now, cross cutting. Here's something that can be used with front cam or like cutting to another camera. You don't always need another camera. It's gonna make things more confusing and annoying. It does, but you can use it to jump cut stuff slightly more naturally. So right here, right, I cut after the hand gesture from Alistair. I actually there's probably like another couple seconds before Pete actually responded on radio, and then we cut forward in that, so that instead of a couple seconds, there's only a couple frames. Rather, it's probably like about 20 frames, I think, in not that many, but anyway, just enough that the conversation still sounds natural. We cut to that. Now, you'll see I am not in the same place at all, but I'm still, you can see the hill on the ground there, so that's like the position I need to get to, the capture point, which I already established just prior in the previous scene. Where is it? There we go. So yeah, we've established like, can you see that? Yeah, on top of the hill. Yeah, the circle, we've already established that's on the top of the hill, and so that's given the audience a geographic reference as to where the objective is. And so when we cut back here, I can't remember how much I actually cut out. Actually, we can actually check. Let's see. So see this? So this is telemarketers, amazing. I just got a phone call from Spain. F off. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, so we can see here, here's Pete. He's doing his thing. And then we cut to, I'm looking down at the hill, and then I walk across the hill, I'm in a different position, and then we're going down. And then I jump cut further down the hill because I'm already looking there. So when you, in action, you can jump cut, but it needs to be clear, like, that you can only jump cut to where you're heading to. So if I'm looking over this way and the viewer can see like a path that way, if I had to change my mind and decide to go down a different path, right? And then I jump cut to that path that has completely no relation to the previous shot, the audience is going to get confused. They're going to be like, oh, where is this in space? However, here, because I'm already looking downhill, I'm jump cutting to where I was heading to anyway. Just heading down the hill. And here's another one where, boom. So here are the trees in the foreground, sorry, in the background, and then I jump cut to closer to the trees. Because like I slowed down here and I started walking, and now I can, yeah, I kind of slowly, I hadn't jumped over this trench before, and so I slow down and I'm looking down at the ground, and I end up stopping and assessing the situation before I jump, and then I just cut to me jumping because I'm in the same environment and that. Because I stood there for about like 5 seconds or more, just looking around, and it's like it's immediately kind of kills the momentum. So it's not always about having super high energy and high momentum. Sometimes what it is also about is having that pacing, because later on here, so I continue on, I head on down, down here, another jump cut down this hill. Then we come up to, let's let it play through. I don't know how So, I've discovered a Mike, and Mike is looking out on the field, and, he's crouching and sort of hiding, so, it's like, oh, okay, it's a quiet moment. You gotta be careful because the enemy's nearby.
Liam and Noah going left.
And yeah, we're just discussing amongst ourselves what's happening. I'm going to add in subtitles for this, but yeah. So yeah, I think I've established like what you can cut with action. Let me show you just how much. Sorry, now I'm doubling back, but this is just how much I cut from that start. So there's that. I actually made a duplicate. Where is it? Of this edit before, because Diz recorded so much like footage, I ended up editing so this is like the raw footage here of the, like, these middle ones down the bottom here are all just the GoPro action clips, end on end, and then also I've synchronized the audio recordings with them. Actually, I can demonstrate to you how much better this audio is. So I'm going to mute the audio recording, and this is just out of the GoPro. Let's get some more. See, I cut all this walking up the hill slowly, and actually, yeah, you'll see, like, I cut to basically at the tree, that kind of thing. So let's hear that with some better audio. Yeah, now you can hear the crunching of the ground, the creaking of the plastic of the blaster as I handle it.
All right. Oh, is that the circle? All right.
Yeah. So let me show you. So I cut out. Where is this conversation? Oh, right. So this here, yeah, Pete actually stayed up on the hill and did a loadout video with Tiz as we started the game. So anyway, I cut all that because that's not what the gameplay edit's about, but I probably will use this maybe as a dedicated loadout video, or I might integrate it into a war blog video. So you need to, the focus should always be the main purpose of the video. It's like, I see, oh, this is something that I've totally like missed with, where's my words? On top of, sorry, where is it? What's it called? I had a brain fart. Announcing, annotation, no, Adrian, what's it called when you talk over a video? I'm having a brain fart, sorry. Voiceover, I'm an idiot, sorry. Yeah, voiceover commentary. I see this with so many people trying to do it, and I've let some people know who I want. I can see the work and the effort they put in. It's like, maybe don't talk as much. Like if you watch Noveridge, if you watch so Airsoft, a very famous Airsoft game player, or if you watch Kicking Mustang, I love watching Kicking Mustang because he's really good with his edit in telling a story and that kind of thing. But with his voice, with both of their voiceovers, it's concise and to the point, and they only do it if it's necessary. I've seen it so many times where people start doing commentary as if they're doing a live stream over their gameplay, and it's just this weird thing of like, don't tell me what's about to happen. Actually, someone, I remember one of them, I can't remember who now, but one of them was like, oh, there's an enemy around this corner. And it's like, why did you just tell me that? You've just removed all tension from the action. Like, we don't know what's around the corner. That's what the excitement is about the action happening. Yeah, it's show it, don't tell it. So I try to make my edits, like that's one of my things. I'm trying to create the memory of the experience of being there. If that makes, I know, a little bit pretentious, but that's like my ultimate goal when I do an edit. And yeah, like there isn't a voiceover in your head when that's happening. So the voiceover is only like if necessary information needs to be added. So I would have done a voiceover if I hadn't recorded. If actually we could go back to the original edit. If I didn't record this with Diz, where I explained the game. Simple game. It's basically like King of the Hill VIP, where they have to get their VIP to the circle on the top of the hill. If we didn't record that clip, I would have done a voiceover. Because that's necessary information to know what the game's about and what the objective is. However, yeah. So let's actually, this thing that I've been wanting to talk about. So.
Cited.
I probably shouldn't say right that, but yeah.
Do we need to not do this right now and take cover?
Yeah, go ahead and play that again. Yep. Why is it? Oh, I did a weird thing. I don't know what I did. It's
Cited.
I probably shouldn't say right that, but yeah.
Do we need to not do this right now and take cover?
We've got a little bit. They're literally coming here, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, right here. Yeah. Yeah. Is this counting up?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
so.
Okay, so yeah, I wanted to build.
The point of where I actually start walking away down the hill from the point where we hang up the radio call. Look at that. That's at 7:22. Yeah, there's like nearly there's about 17 seconds of bullshit before I actually start walking down the hill. You don't need to include that. Cut that shit out. So all right. I think that's nearly my time, so let's do some questions, if there's any. Yeah, all right. What external mic would you recommend? I would suggest try to use Rainbow Circus. I might talk to you later about it if you're serious. I think you've got me on Facebook, but or on Discord. But yeah, essentially, what external mic would you recommend? Yeah, I'm gonna make a post and I'll link these binaural microphone cans that come out to like a normal 3.5 jack. And you can get GoPro adapters, but if you get a stereo adapter for your phone, or if you buy a dedicated, Sorry. Oh no, the batteries went everywhere. Anyway, this is my old Tascam DR5 audio recorder. It's an audio recorder so good that after they made a upgrade replacement for it, no one was buying the upgraded replacement model, and so they started making these again. And I've been using this for years, and it records better than CD audio quality. Yes. So, and anyway, that's got a microphone in. Which, yeah. So if you have some binaural cans or some microphones, yeah, those can work a lot. Also, just getting smart labs for smartphones, and like they plug straight into your phone either through the old jack or through the USB. You can then record clean audio of your teammates if everyone's got one, and then that way you can actually record better conversations between you and your teammates. Yeah. What do we got? Anyway, so yes, that's time, I believe. Should I have a quick look at the Facebook? Adrian? Okay, you've got it right. Anyway, so thank you very much for listening, peeps. I hope that was helpful. I've been considering just doing live streaming with me editing, and if anyone's got questions, yeah, hit me up on the YouTube channel or that kind of thing in the comments sections of like gameplay videos or that kind of thing. Or yeah, I do want to do some live streams on my own channel, talking more about editing gameplay. I might actually stream the edit of finishing off this giant beast of an edit. So the beast. Oh, one last little teaser. Check this out. You see that? Yes, that's right. Turns out GoPros not only record the gyroscopic data, they actually record the GPS data, and a guy has made an app to extract that into a GPX file, and then you can throw that into Google Maps or into Google Earth. And so now I have a real-time GPS map of the game when the GoPro has GPS signal. But yeah, so anyway, this edit, when this video finally comes out, it's going to be lit. It's going to be sick. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Do stick around over the weekend and check out the Facebook group for the world. What's the title again? It's the world's largest Nerf party, Nerf mod party. Is it? Adrian, can you confirm? Yeah, world's largest mod party on Facebook, and there should be links in the stream. Oh, you should already be watching it. Can they hear you? Oh, okay. Up next is, sorry, who was it again? Sick. That's going to be awesome. So up next, guys, we have Airzone. He is going to be doing an Ultra Strike build. That's going to be awesome. He's one of the fathers of modern brushless strike builds and that kind of thing. I think he's the guy who's working on Narfuino or that kind of thing. And yeah, that's going to be awesome. So like, brushless is the future, my friends. Infinite torque. It's going to be amazing. So yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Tune back in half an hour or so for that session. Bye. Kill the stream.